Hey everybody, what is going on? And welcome to my Avatar 2 Way of the Water review. So, I wrote a couple things down on my phone. But first, I wanted to say a big shout out to my local Chinese restaurant. I say local because it's literally like 2-3 minutes away from me, if that. Local Chinese restaurant, only place open tonight in my whole city. I wouldn't say whole city, but like within me coming from the theater, they went all out. This is an absolute beauty. This is a beauty of a menu. I know it doesn't really come up well on the camera because I'll be honest, sorry, my webcam is not the greatest, but I've kind of figured out a little solution here. I've wrapped a sock around the handle, so me moving it around hopefully doesn't cause as much noise. I guess I could throw a fucking sock on it for a pop filter. Pew 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 pew. See, Frank, you're the one making the noise. So anyway, so it kind of works. It's just an old sock I had, just socked up over here with my mic. But hopefully that helps a little bit. So yeah, shout out to the New China Buffet, only place open in my area. So what I was saying was, there's three theaters. There's one actually right over here next to me, which I probably could have just gone there because if I'd known they were open, I probably would have. But there's they opened up a new like fancy theater. They opened up this kind of entertainment district, this little entertainment area off of the. So I got a ticket over there, and originally I was gonna go to the really fancy IMAX theater because they have it's called GTX. I don't really know what the difference is between IMAX and GTX. Maybe the Dolby Atmos. I mean, that's about it. But all the theaters have reclining seats, and like realistically, I didn't feel like my experience going to the cheaper theater really made any difference. And actually, I kind of liked it. It was a much smaller theater in the back of the theater, a much smaller. What is a single movie room? It was a much smaller movie room. I don't want to call it a theater. I mean, the theater is the encompassing thing, right? But is a single theater a theater as well? I mean, that's just confusing, right? So they had a much smaller movie room in the back. Literally, I swear to God, when I bought tickets, it was like 5 seats across and only like 3 or 4 rows. Um, but it was really nice. It was a full theater when I went to buy tickets. I mean, the only seats that were available were the first couple rows, and I bought the seat right in the middle. Right in front of the handicap section. And by the time by the time I got there, the whole thing was, my row was full, and it was actually pretty nice because everybody in there was just we were just all laughing, having a good time. I kind of like I'll say little quips here and there sometimes. Like I try not to talk too loud. I like to talk. I like to talk about a movie like when I'm there, especially with my dad. Like if we go see something like Halloween, I'm always talking to my dad. Like when we went to see Halloween Kills because I haven't seen Halloween Ends yet. I was like, "There's no fucking way that guy's Michael Myers. Michael Myers is 6'7", built like LeBron James. All right, there's no fucking way that short ass guy, white guy, is fucking Michael Myers. We're looking for the guy who plays Jack Reacher on TV. That's who we're looking for. But anyway. So I wrote down a few things about the movie. Not while I was watching it. I just kind of came up with these. Um, I want to talk about it while it's fresh, and I will say there are probably going to be spoilers. One thing that I really liked about this movie is that you didn't even need to go back and rewatch um, Avatar 1. You didn't need to at all. It kind of all came back. The movie is 3 hours and 10 minutes, so I felt like at certain points they kind of went a little long in the tooth for what they were doing. But James Cameron has definitely set this movie up to be a trilogy. This is a stopgap movie. I really wasn't sure what they were planning to do. I think back when Avatar came out, he did say that he was planning on making it a trilogy, I think. And the thing about this movie is, while it isn't, it does have action in the movie. I don't think I would consider this an action movie. I think I would consider this an other like the first movie was most definitely an action movie, but it had a heartwarming plot in it. You had a guy that didn't really ever feel like he fit in, and now he's paralyzed, and he finally gets to walk again. It's like um, when you get to see Grandpa Cortez walking in Spy Kids 3D, or in Spy Kids 3, sorry, because I have it for VHS and it's not called Spy Kids 3D. Although they could have done the VHS in 3D, but then you'd have to have had a second copy that wasn't 3D, because you could, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, it kind of felt like that, and you kind of had this heart, and he doesn't feel like he belongs. He finally finds his people, where he belongs, and he gets kind of lucky in being able to transfer into the Navi body. Um, so let's talk about let me go back to what I was saying. So you don't really need to watch the backstory. You don't need to see one again, even though it did come out in 2009. I think that's when the first one came out, right? 2009. Holy crap! Has it been that long? Jesus. Yeah, 2009. Wow. Let me go look up the actors who were in Avatar: Way of the Water. Let's go to IMDb. It's got 8 out of 10. I mean, it's done well, except on Metacritic. It's at 67%. Wow, IMDb is actually crashing for me right now. It's not loading. All right, well, we'll let IMDb load, and I'll keep talking about the movie. So I didn't need to rewatch Avatar 1. I was planning on it, and then I kind of just last minute bought the ticket yesterday. It's always a tradition of mine to go see a movie on Christmas Day. Now, I did not know it was 3 hours and 10 minutes until what I'll do is I'll turn the brightness all the way down on my phone. I'll just kind of keep it in my lap. I popped it open, and I went to look at Fandango because it had my ticket up, and I saw it was 3 hours and 10 minutes. And I said, "Holy shit!" I had to pee for like half the movie, but I was like, "I'm sure it's gonna get to the good part," and then I could have peed like multiple times, and then, wow, it's really not loading. That's actually crazy. So apparently, Avatar 3 is slated for 2024, around the same time, December 20th. Um, which is cool. I like that. I like that there's I'm trying to look at Way of the Water. I'm just trying to look up the cast. I want the full cast and crew. I just don't understand why it's not loading. I love how okay, so Sigourney Weaver did play Kitty. So wow, Cliff Curtis was in there. Tonawari. Oh shit, Michelle Rodriguez was in there. Nice. One of the sons, was played by Tom Holland. It's just played by a Tom Holland like character. Um, Edie Falco's in the movie. I mean, it had a good cast. Giovanni Giovanni Ribisi is in there. I hope I said his name correctly. So yeah, I just wanted to take a look. I wasn't sure. I was thinking that they had Sigourney Weaver playing the daughter version of herself, which I think is kind of cool. But I definitely think that there was an actress I was thinking of that I was like, man, she really does look a lot like Sigourney Weaver. But then I kept hearing the voice, and I was like, I think that is Sigourney Weaver. So my thinking is that, so spoiler alert, big spoiler alert. Somehow Sigourney Weaver's avatar body gave birth. So I'm not exactly sure whose daughter it is. I don't think anybody knows who it is. They kind of joke around about it. Um, but she is playing the daughter version of herself. But what I think potentially could have happened is she has supernatural powers in the movie, and I think that somehow Sigourney Weaver, her character from the first movie, somehow got transferred into her daughter. Like she was reborn, if you will. New memories, not remembering who her mother is, but she has these powers. Like she has the power to control the creatures. So she takes her tentacle braid and she can like plug into certain creatures and things and control them. And you kind of get hints of this throughout the movie that maybe there's something else going on. And like I said, there's obviously there's plans to be a sequel. Um, I'm not exactly sure why it took so long for this one to come out. I mean, 2022. I mean, damn, that's 10, 11, 12 years. 12 years, right? 10 years would have been 2019. Yeah, 12 years. So, pretty long time, pretty long wait for a movie. Yeah, it would be 12 years. So, yeah, I know some people are probably not gonna like my hat, but it was really cold. It actually was really comfortable with the movies. Um, so let me look at some of the notes that I wrote down after I got home. So some of the pros that I put, and I've seen a lot of people mention this, the visuals in the movie were phenomenal. The CGI was pretty good in some places. In other places, I was like, it looks weird. And also, Jake's character, Jake Sully, uh, his Navi looks so weird. His avatar looks so weird. He looks like a Khajiit. He looks like a Khajiit from like Morrowind, but with like Skyrim body. You know what I'm saying? It's just he looks odd all the time, like almost kind of like BoJack Horseman, but if he was an avatar. Um, the music was pretty good. It's something that I just didn't notice really until they got to the water tribe. And I also think it's very strange that two separate blockbuster movies have come out that have heavily focused on the water. And by that I mean Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Avatar Way of the Water. Of course, Way of the Water, I had an idea this might have something to do with the water tribe. Um, but I felt that the reason that they got here was very hamstringed. So I also there was so another thing I didn't know that uh what's his name, Colonel Quarter son of a bitch had a kid. I think I forgot about that. I don't remember him having a kid in the first movie, but he gets adopted by Jake and his family in the movie. Again, like I said, it's gonna be have spoilers in it. Um, and so he kind of grows up with them. And that I one thing that I really liked about the movie was this sense of unity. The Navi were willing to accept this human child as their own, and the whole reasoning behind that is that they couldn't put a baby in cryostasis for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I don't know how their cryostasis system works. So they just went with it. And I honestly thought it was a really cool thing because you get this sense of unity beyond race or skin color, because obviously he's white and they're all blue, but they all accept him, and especially Kitty, which is Sigourney Weaver's character's daughter. She also gets adopted by Sully, and they treat them equally. Although Neytiri does hold Spider hostage at the end, which I was like, damn. But he didn't take it personally because he understood what she had just gone through, and that she would be willing to do whatever it took for her to save her family, and it kind of worked. So what did I not like about the movie? So visually, the movie looked great. The music, I think the visuals, music, 10 out of 10. Well, music. I'm sorry, my nose is just really stuffed up. Visuals, 10 out of 10. I think James Cameron did an amazing job. There's actually an Earth-like planet that orbits Pandora, which you get a shot of when the Sky People or uh, Earth humans come back to Pandora. So essentially, what happens is there's kind of like this eclipse that happens when the sun of that galaxy passes behind that Earth planet, or that Earth planet eclipses, or the Earth Moon planet thing eclipses the sun. Um, this is so there. This is something that I think, or a reason I think that Avatar would be better as a TV show is because I feel like you would get a chance to maybe explore more of the planet. Because apparently the planet is fucking massive. It's big enough now, and I'm not really sure why space movies feel the need to always have some kind of Earth-like moon surrounding a planet. But I think they just do it because they're like, look at how much bigger, um, look at how much bigger this planet is than Earth. It's so big. It's got an Earth moon. It's got an Earth orbiting it as a moon, kind of. Uh, so I thought that those visuals were amazing. I thought he did a fantastic job on this movie. Visually, 10 out of 10. Music, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. I mean, it was. You know what? I'm sorry. Look. The music was all right. Like I said, I didn't really notice the music that much. The sound was awesome. The sound effects were on point. I give it an 8 out of 10. The music, it was a 6 out of 10. Better than average, but not amazing. Not like Star Wars level. And I've come around a lot on Rogue One. I think Rogue One had amazing original music, that was inspired obviously by its predecessors, the predecessor Star Wars movies. So what did I think was weak about the movie, or what did I think was a con about the movie? Well, quite frankly, it was the story. I thought the story was extremely weak. I decided to kind of refilm the end of this because I kind of just ranted on here, and I wanted to clarify a statement. I've had some more time to think about what I didn't like about the story, and I'll say that for me personally, I actually did quite like the story of Avatar 2. What I didn't really like was I felt the beginning, and the reason why I said the story was weak is because I felt that the beginning of the story was, as I said, kind of weak. Like, to me, from what I saw in Avatar 1, Jake wouldn't have just ran away. He would have tried to fight them. Now, I will say, in defense of my thinking on that, um, there is a huge time jump between the first movie and this movie. I think it was like 10, 11 years or something like that. Because I want to say Jake's oldest son was supposed to be, to me, it felt like he was supposed to be like 15, like 14 to 16. And the younger son was supposed to be uh, like, like 12 or 13 years old, like pretty close in age, I thought, at least. But I just didn't feel like the beginning, like Jake running away with his family, that didn't really feel like his character. But it's also been a long time, and priorities for him have changed. So I can definitely see why maybe his character might have done that with everything that went on. But it also helped to further the story, and I felt like the story really shined when it was about the kids in the movie, about Jake's two sons, Kitty. So the Water Tribe girl, Soraya, and Loak, I think was his name. I really liked that connection he had, and it obviously worked in their favor towards the end of in the last fight scene, literally the really, I don't want to say the only action sections of the movie, because there were some action sections in the movie, but oh, my nose is itchy and I'm about to sneeze. Um, there were some like the big action section of the movie at the end. It came into play again. Like I said, there were spoilers. But I actually kind of liked the story in this one, and I thought for a movie that took so long to come out, I thought it did a pretty good job. I think when you have projects like these, that it takes so long for a sequel to come out, I usually to me it always seems like it falls flat. I think of stuff like The Hobbit. They did it and they rushed it, and it looks worse than the Lord of the Rings trilogy that came out in 2001. And those movies came out like fucking like 10 years later. So, so the story, while I did think that the initial portion of it was kind of weak, I actually really liked what they were able to put together. It was almost kind of like the passing of the torch. So where the first movie was about Jake and Neytiri, the second movie was more kind of about Loak and Saraya. So I really like that. That it was kind of the passing of the torch, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel forced. They had, they didn't kill off the previous characters. All that shit like they did in Star Wars, which yeah, that was kind of that's a whole nother basket. And I feel like people have answered that question plenty on in other movies, but overall, I thought that the story was based on how the third movie goes. I would rate the story probably like a 6 out of 10. I mean, it was above average. It was pretty good. So I almost don't want to give it that because I feel like it's too low. It's a 7 out of 10. It's a 70. It's passing. It really is going to depend. I thought that if we just had a little bit more conflict with the actual villains, instead of it turning into like a teenage romance drama in the middle, it kind of flips genres really quick in the middle of the movie. And then there's like this like hour section of that going on, and like I said, I didn't think it was bad, and really what I think of the story is going to really be determined by the third movie because but like I said, it's a stopgap movie, and it's a platform to get us to the third movie, which I think is gonna be pretty good from just based on what I've seen. I assume they filmed it at the same time they filmed two, so yeah. But I don't know. I felt like it got too caught up. But like I said, it's a mid movie in a trilogy, in a planned trilogy. So it's just a story building movie. It's a deck building booster box for Yu-Gi-Oh. You know what I'm saying? It's building on the story that they told in Avatar 1. And overall, I think it was pretty good. And like I said, I definitely give it a 7 out of 10. And honestly, that's pretty good. Anything above a 5 out of 10, a 5 out of 10 and up, it's worth watching. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe not. It's kind of up to you. But I think a 7 out of 10 is pretty good. Maybe it's a little much. 8 out of 10 might be there. But you know what? I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. Music, sound, pretty good, or the sound effects pretty good. The music was all right. Story was a little weak, like I said. Visuals stunning. I love the visuals. James Cameron obviously does too, because I think that's the part he focuses on the most, and it looks fantastic. I do wish the story was a little bit better, but I think we're gonna see huge character development in this third movie. The third movie is going to be the movie. It's going to be the action-packed portion of the movie, of the trilogy. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and I want to wish everyone out there a Merry Christmas. Whew. Now I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this delicious Chinese food that I got. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Have a good day.